or any kind of specific funding for it. The way this process works is very simple. We now have to go up, and if I bring Boca Raton's request for beach money up to Washington, I have to go up, file a bill, indicate what it's for. I have to stand in front of the members of the committee and stand in front of the House and make my argument. That's the new rule. It's not this secret Vatican operation anymore, which was ridiculous. You now have to make that very public. But here's the real deal, okay? I can't believe the people that represent parts of this country that basically say, well, I'm against Port Carroll, I'm against special funding. And what they do is they basically say, I'm not going to do it. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Well, I don't want your tax dollars to go to Oregon or California or Montana. If you change the whole system, that's fine. We'll work in a different system, but I'm not going to give up money that you've worked hard for, that we send up to Washington. I want every single dollar plus more to come back to our local community. Specific projects I've worked on, I've brought security cameras to Riviera Beach. I've got funding for the Port of Palm Beach and Port Everglades to keep those channels wide open. Huge economic engines and job creation for our South Florida area, for the tourism industry, for the cruise industry, for shipping of agricultural products in and out of the ports. If we don't get that federal money, in combination with some state money, we can't operate those ports. So this is what I fight for, and again, it's not my idea. Local businesses, local ports come to me and say, Ron, and everybody else in this regional area, Democrats and Republicans, Mr. Rooney and I work together on this. He's a Republican from the North Part. We work together to get it done.
Thank you, Mr. West.
And I think that's exactly the thing we're talking about. Not just South Floridians use the ports here. So that's one of those things that does affect our economy here. That's one of the things that people come here to go on cruise ships, and that's one of the things that you do fight for. But you have to show that you have a broader perspective, a broader vision, to make sure that you can say that this is not just something that is, my little rice bowl that benefits me here, but it is something that will benefit people to come down here to South Florida to spend money, so that we can continue to have a vibrant economy, be it at the beaches, be it at the ports. And also when we talk about the traffic lights or the lights, cameras that you're saying, that's important for our safety as well. So those are the things that you continue to fight for, as I said, falls under, promoting the general welfare of the people and the general welfare clause of the Constitution. So yes, I will continue to fight for those things, but you will not see me go up there and wastefully spend your taxpayer dollars.
Constituent service is not only fighting for the money to come back, but it's also to take care of local people. I think of Debbie Battles, who came to me. She was an older woman. She was depending on her Social Security check. And about a third of the people in this community do every month. All they have is Social Security. She wasn't getting some follow-up at the national level. We fought for it, but we fought. We worked with veterans. We worked with Medicare. We worked with doctors and individuals who are not getting their as they should. I've got a team of people here that is second to none, and I'm so proud of their effort because every day we're having people come through our office and we fight for them. So again, a lot of important things we work on in Washington we're discussing. But, at the end of the day, the most important thing we can do is listen to our local community. There are specific things that we can help them with, whether it's on veterans, or Medicare, or Social Security, or passport visas. We've been helping them with a great track record doing that.
All right, so moving on to the first question from Mr. Donald Eckler in Parkland. Mr. Eckler asks about lobbying. Restricting a federal, would you be willing to propose legislation restricting an entire federal legislature from consulting, lobbying, or working for a consulting or lobbying firm dealing with the federal government for a period of 5 years after leaving office? We'll start with Mr. Coleman.
Yes. I think part of the problem in Washington has been this, in Tallahassee and local governments, the same problem. People that sort of are on this revolving door in and out of service. Now, I will also say that some of the people that are the most experienced, having served in government, and maybe went back to the private sector and then came back to government, that's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of experience. You want experienced people helping, guide the decisions. But I think there's no question that certainly the perception and the substance of lobbying in this process is out of hand. Now, I'll also tell you that, I will tell you the most effective people that come to visit me in my office here in South Florida are individuals. They're lobbying. They're teachers that come forward. I think of a local young man who, with his mom, came to me on juvenile diabetes. He and his friend came forward, and this is what they're dealing with. They want more funding. Dozens and dozens of individuals come forward every year, not paid lobbyists. These are the people that really have the issues. every one of you has the opportunity to do that. You can come and see all comers all day long. But the reality is, a lobbyist should be treated separately. And again, my personal view is that the people who come forward that have the most influence on me, not only my wife, who obviously I have to answer to every day, but beyond that, it's individuals who are not paid, but just come forward with their own experience.
Mr. West.
I think it's very interesting when you look at my son's background. He does have a background of being a lawyer lobbyist in Tallahassee, and I think that does have an impact on responsibility. But I think that the most important thing is that each and every one of you out here are the lobbyists. You're the individuals that come to me to make sure that I'm doing the things that you sent me to Washington, D.C. to do. And I think that the proof is in the pudding. When you look at our FEC reports between Lieutenant Colonel retired Alan West and Congressman Ron Klein, you see a very interesting statistic. 30% of his campaign contributions come from special interest PACs. Only 4% of my campaign contributions have come from any PACs. Most of those PACs being veterans related or defense related. So I think that shows you where someone's allegiance and where someone's, I guess, leaning towards as far as who are they really up there promoting? Who are they really up there taking care of? And I think that's one of the dangerous things that we see. We have to make sure that these special interest lobbyists are kept away from influencing the political process in the United States of America. And I think definitely at the degree where they can inflict or infect my decision making, which you will never see happen.
All right, Mr. Klein.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the fact that when Mr. West wants to talk about campaign, where the receipts are coming from, I'm very proud of the fact that most of my money has come from South Florida, where I've lived for 25 years. Most of Mr. West, a big portion of his comes from outside the state of Florida through the Sarah Palin endorsement and a lot of other folks. Mr. West also doesn't even live in the district. He didn't live in the district the last time he ran against me. He still doesn't live in the district. And it seems to me that is not a sideshow, as he's called it. It's real. It's the manner of understanding where you live, where you work, the community that you live in, and having been in for 25 years and for everything from Hurricane Andrew on, I've had that since. Mr. West has been here 6 years, and I appreciate the fact he's in town, but has obviously chosen to run in one district he doesn't even live in.
Well, one thing is absolutely certain. I can't apologize for the fact that I was off 22 years serving in the military, and I did decide. Okay, I am qualified to run for the United States House of Representatives according to the Constitution. It says you must be 25 years of age. I'm 49. You have to be a citizen of the United States for 7 years. I've been a citizen for 49 years. It says that at the time of being elected, you must be an inhabitant of the state. Well, I don't recall Congressman Ron Klein saying anything to his former buddy, Robert Wexler.
Next question from Richard Owens on West Palm Beach. Pertains to the healthcare bill. For Mr. West, what portion of the healthcare bill would you repeal, if all? And if so, how would you replace it? And for Mr. Klein, explain how the healthcare bill will make it either worse or better for small businesses.
I think the most important thing about the healthcare bill is the fact that we have seniors down here in South Florida. And the healthcare bill, the law, has $500 billion in cuts to Medicare. It also has a 3.9% sales surcharge tax on Medicare recipients that are $200,000 or above income. This healthcare law also creates some 166 new government agencies, bureaucracies, and we already talked about the fact that 16,000 new IRS agents. 11 new taxes to include a real estate tax. And one of the taxes that I absolutely think is incredibly racist, if you want to talk about it, is a tanning booth tax, because West is not going to a tanning booth. Those are definitely the kind of things that I was thinking here. But when you look at the fact that you do have the inclusion there about pre-existing conditions, that is important. We need to take care of Americans. But what we did not look at in the healthcare law was what are the things that are driving the cost of healthcare up. It does nothing talking about catastrophic litigation. It does nothing talking about breaking down the state-by-state boundaries and restrictions that we have on insurance. You need to have competition. That's part of the free market. That's part of free enterprise. You need to be the one that's in charge of your health care. We need to incentivize good health care, good health care practices. We should not be taxing health savings accounts. We should be promoting it. And I'll knock on wood for something here. The insurance companies, because I do have private insurance, they're making money off of me because I leave a health healthy lives.